NPP unhappy with the arrest of 3 South African ex-servicemen.
Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World Tuberculosis Day.
And Congo's President Denis Sassou Nguesso re-elected for a 3rd term. Hello, good evening. It's time for News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Seyoko Kwakutre.
And I am for you, Darko. Robert Frimpong Manso is also here with us in the studio to do the sign language.
To begin with, the new Patriotic Party has expressed dismay at the arrest of 3 South African ex-servicemen charged alongside 2 Ghanaians for acts that compromise the country's security.
At a briefing in Accra, the acting party chairman, Freddie Blaze, said the 3 were brought into the country legally and their business in the country is legitimate. They were to train 15 persons who will take care of the security for the party's flag bearer, Nana Akufo-Addo, and his running mate, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and their spouses.
The party insists they did nothing wrong in seeking the best of protection for their leadership.
There is no law in Ghana that forbids a licensed international VIP protection expert from training personal bodyguards of politicians in Ghana. Let it also be corrected that contrary to the claim by the BNI that the 35 men who were being trained were not handling weapons, indeed, not a single lethal weapon was used or found by the BNI on the training premises. All the tools used for the training were bought from a registered company in South Africa, licensed to sell security-related products. The services granted were for the personal protection of the 4 prominent people in Ghana, namely Nana Akufo-Addo, the presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, the NPP vice presidential candidate, and their spouses, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo and Hajia Samira Bawumia. The training was then openly at a resort which is always open to the general public. The 15 people who were receiving training are all, I repeat, all widely known to be bodyguards, chauffeurs, and a photographer of the 2 MPP candidates.
The University of Ghana has conferred an honorary doctorate degree on some prominent personalities who have distinguished themselves in their endeavors. Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, the renowned heart surgeon, and 13 others were honored at the ceremony held to climax Agri Fraser Gadgesberg Memorial Lectures in Accra.
The ceremony was graced by former UN Chief Mr. Kofi Annan and former President Mr. John Agyekum Kufuor. Chancellors from various universities were also in attendance. The awardees are Christopher Udry, Professor of Economics at Yale University, George Francis Daniel, former Registrar at University of Ghana, Jerome Siaung Jangma, retired scientist and educationist, Mrs. Justina Beidu, who had no formal education but whose company is now one of the leading fish trading and cold storage companies in Ghana, and many others.
My colleague honorary awardees of the University of Ghana 2016, I stand here in distinguished company to say thank you to the University Council and the university for doing us this great honor. We thank the university, fully aware that the university cannot at any one time honor all who contribute to its vision and mission. We believe, however, that we are just a fraction of the many who deserve such honors and recognition.
The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ernest Aite, cautioned the public to be wary of academic institutions that award degrees for which they have not been certified.
I confidently say that for the 14 men and women that we will be honoring today. We are convinced that they are very deserving of the award. We don't expect them, as a result of the award, to change anything about themselves. Normally, we would expect a bishop to be a priest. In the same way, we expect a professor to be teaching in a university. There's no way you can be a professor if you don't teach in a university. But in Ghana, you can be in the civil service and become a professor. Sometimes you retire from the civil service and then you become a professor without teaching in a university. You can quote me anywhere. If you don't teach in a university, you cannot be a professor.
This year's Agri Fraser Gadgesberg Memorial Lectures was under the theme Fighting Political Domination. It was delivered by Professor Ian Shapiro from the Yale University in the United States of America.
The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Misa Arthur, has commended the Ashanti Regional Educational Directorate for introducing an hour of early reading into the curricula of some schools in the region. She said if that is effectively enforced and monitored, it would help build the people's ability to understand the English language and improve their performances during examinations. Mrs. Misa Arthur was speaking at separate debates at Insuta, Pokokrom and Potrikrom, all in the Ashanti region, during a two-day visit to the region to donate educational materials to the schools. A report by Theodora Amedeto.
Aside other challenges such as the lack of conducive environment for teaching and learning, inability of the peoples to read and understand the English language in some basic schools in the country has been identified as the bane of people's ability to understand questions and answer correctly during examinations. To curb this, the Ashanti Regional Educational Directorate has introduced an hour of early reading between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. so that the pupils could have some time of uninterrupted reading before normal classes begin. However, in many schools, especially in deprived communities, books are a scarce commodity, hence reading almost non-existent. While education is described as the gateway to development, books and reading are its building blocks. The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Misa Arthur, has always contributed her quota in ensuring that children acquire quality education in the country. During her recent visit to the Ashanti region, she donated texts and exercise books, among other educational materials, to some basic schools to help improve teaching and learning. The beneficiary schools included the Insuta RC Primary and Junior High School and Pokokrom Methodist Primary Schools. Mrs. Misa Arthur noted that the most important thing is for teachers and parents to ensure that the children are able to climb up the educational ladder and impact society positively.
Education officer no or the reading abeshemu nije pa na sa one no mesrese teachers no ebe taking it serious pa esan sa kwala bia ye be boa no be wan kenkan no kwa achire broni say reading makes a man.
The Insutahin Nana Kweku Beni commended the effort of Mrs. Misa Arthur. He, however, pleaded that the classroom structure of the basic schools in the area be improved and an IT center be established for the schools. While the chief of Pokokrom, Nana Poku, said the most important thing, the need for the children in his area, are a library and a computer hub, which would benefit both the student and the community at large. The people were grateful for the gesture from Mrs. Misa Arthur. Theodora Amedeto, GBC24, Ashanti Region.
The Director General of GBC, Major Albert Don Chebe, retired, has called on educational institutions to inculcate leadership skills in the youth. He says leadership remains a challenge in most fields and there is a need for a holistic approach to deal with the situation. Major Don Chebe was speaking at the 86th anniversary of St. Augustine's College at Cape Coast.
The 86th anniversary of St. Augustine's College was under the theme Leadership and Development in the 21st Century. The occasion brought together past students, stakeholders in education, parents, and students. It also offered an opportunity for the old students to support their alma mater. The St. Augustine's National Association of the Old Students donated a bus to the school, whilst the 1991 year group refurbished the school's dining hall, which was in bad condition. The Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, Major Retired Albert Donchebi, noted that the 21st century leadership faces a lot of challenges, especially in agriculture, politics, and economics, among other fields. He therefore called for a concerted approach to inculcate leadership skills in the youth to help support Ghana's quest for development. He commended educational institutions such as St. Augustine's College for nurturing human resource for the world economy.
St. Augustine's received me with warmth, enveloped me with love, and schooled me diligently, and sent me out into the world with all the tools, spiritual and temporal, academic, human, and societal.
The headmaster of the school, Mr. Jodfred Cornell, said the school has chalked many successes in both academic and sport. He therefore bemoaned the spate of indiscipline among students and admonished parents to support the school to instill discipline in the children. Professor Charles Apiedu of the Georgia State University, USA, underscored the need for more orientation and education on leadership skills.
I urge you to really believe and live by sound, proven leadership principles, right? If you work hard towards living by these leadership principles and demonstrating these in your daily life, you will transform Ghana. It's not that hard.
The president of the 1991 year group, Robert Okratete, encouraged all past students to support their alma mater. He said the group chose to refurbish the dining hall because the facility needed a facelift.
The Eastern Regional Minister has affirmed the support of the Regional Coordinating Council for the National Stop Crime campaign being championed by Prisons Ambassador Extraordinaire Mr. Ibrahim Kwatin. Maybe Samafrimpong has therefore charged the ambassador to do a regional launch of the campaign in the region, which she says has a high crime rate.
The minister described the initiative of the Prince's ambassador as an effective one that could go a long way to significantly reduce crime in the country, especially in the eastern region, which she said has a high crime rate. She said her region is the only region in the country that has 4 major prisons, hence the need to sensitize the public to the consequences of crime in view of the deplorable prison conditions. She lauded the Ghana Education Service GES for giving Mr. Kwatin's NGO Crime Check Foundation the green light to screen prison documentaries in pre-tertiary institutions across the country and promised the collaboration of her office to ensure the success of the ambassador's initiative.
We will support you wholeheartedly. We are ready to collaborate with the organization, your organization, whatever it takes for us to make this program become a reality and a success. We will do.
For his part, Mr. Kwatin said it is important to put more emphasis on crime prevention to reduce congestion in the country's prisons. The National Stop Crime campaign will be launched by the Prisons Ambassador in Accra on the 21st of April next month.
There's more news coming up.
Hello, good evening, and many thanks for joining us for some business updates. I am Dorothy Ajimine. SC Johnson Ghana has launched its Raid for More promotion in Kumasi. The promotion is a nationwide consumer retailer reward scheme designed to rekindle the trust and confidence consumers have in the product. SC Johnson Ghana has in the last 55 years helped to clamp down on insects and nematodes through its flagship brand, Raid. Raid is a household name in Ghana, having attained the highest brand equity and trustworthy rating in Ghanaian homes. The Raid for More promotion will run till 11th June this year. The promotion is designed to be an exciting and interactive activity to reward customers and retailers with different and attractive prizes, including mobile phones and plasma TV. 2 Hyundai Accents are the ultimate prizes to be won by customers. SC Johnson is running the promotion in conjunction with the National Lottery Authority. The first draw is scheduled to take place on the 15th of April 2016. The customer marketing manager of SC Johnson Ghana, Mrs. Doreen Natayo, threw more light on the promotion.
Making sure say ube sticker fit an ebo hono. No testi code ne wo hono ako 1393. Me ba chaw testi a ye nje wo hwe.
Otumfuos Anantahene Bafo Fosue J Twetweakwa encouraged Ghanaians to continue buying Raid insecticide spray, saying its effectiveness in killing mosquitoes can be trusted. The associate manager of SC Johnson Ghana, Mr. Ebenezer Ejakwa, also spoke more about the promotion.
This promotion is a nationwide consumer and retailer reward scheme designed to rekindle the trust and confidence of our loyal consumers for all these years. These consumers have protected themselves and their families with a brand they can trust.
Some members of the Ashanti Regional Branch of the Ghana Actors Guild and Cultural Troupe endorsed Raid as the most efficient insecticide spray which should be used by all Ghanaians. The National Investment Bank has opened a new branch at the Dungu campus of the University of Development Studies in Tamale to bring its services to the doorsteps of the university and surrounding communities. The Dungu branch adds to the bank's growing list of branches in the country.
The bank was established by the government of Ghana in 1963 as a National Development Bank. Later, the bank was granted a commercial banking license by the Bank of Ghana. The government of Ghana owns all the shares in the bank. In December 2011, the total assets of the bank was put at $468.5 million, with a CD equivalent of 878.9 million Ghana cedis. Shareholders' equity is approximately $47 million, with a CD equivalent of 88.1 million. The bank, which had 29 branches in March 2011, can now boast of 41 branches. Management hint that it will extend its tentacles to Swami, Kumasi, Mampong in the Ashanti region, as well as Yendi in the northern region. The latest branch to be opened is the Dungu branch at USD campus in Tamale. Management say these branches will reinforce the bank's capacity to serve its customers, especially those in the education and academic sectors. The managing director of the National Investment Bank, Ernest Mauli Agbeshi, said the bank has held itself above the competition in the industry.
The expansion of our brand networks will also generate large social benefits by promoting greater financial inclusion as an important tool for supporting economic development and the improvement in living standards.
Mr. Agbeshi also outlined the significant successes chalked up by the bank as of December 2015.
Our deposits grew from 1.34 billion in 2014 to 1.78 billion in 2015. Although the industry grew by about 30%, NIB grew by 32.61%, which means we are above the industry.
The Vice Chancellor of the University for Development Studies, Professor G.A. Tay, said the university has a population of over 5,000 and that the opening of the branch would not only facilitate the financial transactions of students and staff of the university, but will also create a conducive business atmosphere for those living in and around the university.
20,000 students to become your customers, you have to catch them young. I'm very happy to be part of this, and I believe our relationship will grow from strength to strength.
A board member of the NIB, Hajia Zenabu Mahama, said the bank has developed strategies to make it one of the preferred and profitable banks in the country.
The cedi performed positively against the euro, pound sterling and the dollar. Against the euro, the cedi gained 3 pesos. To the pound sterling, it appreciated by 6 pesos. And to the dollar, the cedi inched up by peso. Next is the board. On the commodity markets, gold, cocoa and light crude all dropped in price. Gold lost $9.50, cocoa dipped by $29 and light crude decreased by 75 cents. This segment was brought to you by Airtel, SIC and Ernest Chemist. The insurance news is next. Kumasi Central Market has thousands of shops, but none of them is insured. Though markets like this should have been a gold mine for insurance companies, most of them are shying away, citing the risk factor in the market as very high and disincentive for business.
Undoubtedly, the Kumasi Central Market is one of the biggest trade hubs not only in Ghana but also in the Eco-Assam region. The market was established by the colonial government in 1934. The 25.6-acre land was meant to accommodate 70 lockable shops but was without essential utilities like water and places of convenience. 82 years on, the market has about 50,000 people engaged in a wide range of commercial activities. Ideally, a market like this should become an attractive place for insurance companies to do business, but that is not the case. The traders say they have life policies, but most of the insurance companies are reluctant to insure their wares and shops. Madam Mary Nkrumah and Madam Janet Amwating have been doing business in the market for 30 and 27 years respectively.
Insurance for na ombe jomha. But one one kasa na wakase upese we insure oniema almost ejoma because of fire bending no nti onya dia ejom no de ombe insure obia store amano. But say ombe insure na wo nipa ban no ana bia capital ekuta wo no na omo insure.
E jasisi na na ebe jom no enu nti na omo pese ombe be ya mai.
They, like most of the market, depend on family, loved ones and church support, especially in times of operational problems. With the level of awareness and willingness among the traders, one would have thought that the insurance companies would readily take advantage and increase their market shares. However, they describe the market as uninsurable or not viable for insurance business. The Kumasi area manager of SIC General Insurance, Mrs. Jifa Kwakume, emphasized the readiness of a company to do business with traders at the central market if the necessary steps are taken.
Specifically with the central market, there have been fire almost every year. But those who are at the periphery, near the road, some of them have covers. I recall we paid claims to a couple of them some years ago. But the problem actually is with those inside the market. The market is very congested. Accessibility is the main issue.
However, manager of the Central Market, Mr. Charles Nixon, urged the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to set up its own insurance agency to cater for the insurance needs of the traders when the proposed Central Market is eventually completed. Insurance penetration in Ghana is on the low side, and it will not be out of place for insurance companies, traders and policymakers to dialogue and find means to rope in more traders into the insurance net.
The insurance news was brought to you by SIC Live. We have more news coming up. Please do stay.
Good evening. It's time to do some health news, proudly brought to you by FPAC. Blows your pain away. My name is Evans Achampon. Ending tuberculosis by 2030 is a target of the Sustainable Development Goals. Experts say, while there has been significant progress in the fight against TB, with 43 million lives saved since 2000, the battle is only half won. Over 4,000 people lose their lives each day to the leading infectious disease. Many of the communities that are most burdened by the tuberculosis are those that are poor, vulnerable, and marginalized. When treatment is adequately given on time, a sufferer can be completely cured. As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World Tuberculosis Day, let's get more insight into the disease.
One disease that burdens the world with its torture is tuberculosis. It is caused by a bacterium known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which attacks any part of the body, but usually the lungs. It is an airborne disease which spreads through cough and sneeze of infected persons. When a person breathes in the TB bacterium, it settles in the lungs and begins to grow. If a person's immune system is strong, it suppresses the bacteria. On the other hand, the disease grows quickly in persons with weak immune system. The category of people who are more prone to this disease are babies and children, substance abusers, HIV, diabetic, and some cancer patients. Depending on where the bacteria grow, the symptoms may include loss of appetite, chills, fever, sweating at night, bad cough, and pain in the chest. The institutional TB coordinator of the chest department of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Mr. Samuel Kujawu, gives us more insight into the disease.
We are all in a way infected by the TB germ, but the body's defense system keeps them in a way that they are under control. So myself and you sitting here, we are all having the infection already. But as to whether you develop a disease or not will depend on a lot of factors. As I talk to you now, there are water droplets that are coming out of my mouth, which you cannot see. They are very small, and that is what contains the germs. So if you are in an air-conditioned bus from Accra to Kumasi and one person has TB, you can imagine what happens in the bus.
Before the 1940s, tuberculosis killed all persons it affected. But with the discovery of several drugs, TB is now curable. Sadly, however, people continue to die from TB due to factors such as HIV, which breaks down the immune system, and stigmatization that comes along with it. According to the World Health Organization, about 1.5 million people died of TB in 2014, a figure which is more alarming than deaths caused by HIV. Mr. Kujawu explains why.
Our problem is stigma. Someone gets TB, he's isolated, he's like, no, but before the person was diagnosed as TB, the person had TB and was with you. So if there is a risk of infection, the person has already infected you. You don't need to, the time that the person has been detected now and has been put on drugs, by so doing, they suppress the strength of the organism. Nobody can confidently come and say, this is my TB. Because once you say, this is my TB, I mean, there is something around it. And that is what is making people to hide it. So some people are even in the community that have chronic cough, secreting the organisms, but because of the stigma, they won't come out.
A painter, Alex Mensah, shares his ordeal as a TB patient with us.
I
was admitted for more than 2 months in 2013.
and when I was discharged, I was put on an 8-month medication. I took it religiously and fully recovered. But after 2 years, the cough is back because I relapsed on my old behavior, alcoholism.
Every month,
He had a word of caution for all.
As soon as you get a bad cough, which lasts for more than 2 weeks, consult a doctor for proper diagnosis. Self-medicating will only worsen your plight.
After efforts failed to kick TB out by 2015, this year marks the beginning of the new 20-year plan agreed on by the World Health Assembly last year. The plan seeks to end the TB endemic worldwide by 2035. But the onus lies on all to watch out for the symptoms and seek medical attention when necessary. Also, society is expected to encourage TB victims rather than shun them, since rejection worsens their plight, leading to more deaths. Micheline Tucker, GBC24, Accra.
Now, Ghana has met the World Health Organization recommended cure rate level of 85% for new smear positive cases of tuberculosis. This means Ghana is curing the disease. Yet, the country's health centers are still recording increasing cases of the disease. These issues came up for mention at Ashaiman, where Ghana marked this year's World Tuberculosis Day.
Globally, 9 million people contract tuberculosis every year. The disease, which has become an epidemic, is caused by a type of bacterium called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. About a third of the 9 million people who get TB each year do not get access to treatment. In Ghana, 76,000 people contract the disease every year, out of which over 9,700 lose their lives. Annually, the World Health Organization commemorates World TB Day to build public awareness that tuberculosis remains an epidemic in a large part of the world. Ashaiman was one of the places in Ghana where this year's World TB Day was observed. It was under the theme, Unite to End TB this year. The world is moving from just stopping TB to ending the epidemic. The WHO representative in Ghana, Dr. Owen Kaluwa, commended Ghana for her success in the fight against TB and asked more to be done to end the disease.
We in WHO will continue to support countries to strengthen health systems to make ending TB a reality.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Nilaye Afoteagbo, and the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Ebenezer Apiadintura, were optimistic that Ghana would end TB in the country by 2030. The Minister for Health, Mr. Alex Egwepia, said Parliament has given approval for a €30 million facility to support the national response to fight TB.
TB is a disease that has plagued mankind for centuries. And in spite of the low cost of treatment, which is only about $30 for 6 months treatment, this disease is still inflicting mankind globally. Parliament in February approved a loan of €13 million to support the implementation of the national response to fight TB. This will be used to procure digital X-ray machines to be distributed to 49 district hospitals to actively screen for TB amongst Ghanaians in the country.
The National TB Programs Manager, Dr. Frank Bonsu, said Ghana needs $80 million to end the disease by 2030.
Thank you very much. And that's all in this segment, which is proudly brought to you by FPAC. News Hour continues right after the break.
You're still live on GTV and GBC24, your all news channel. Welcome back to the international news. Denis Sassou Nguesso has been re-elected President of Congo-Brazzaville after the constitution was amended to allow him to seek a third term. He won 60% of the vote against 15% for his nearest challenger. The opposition has raised the red flag over the results, pointing to large-scale fraud. Mr. Sassou Nguesso has been in power since 1979, except for a 5-year period after losing elections in 1992. The constitution was changed after an October referendum to remove term and age limits, which would have prevented the 72-year-old from standing again. UN judges in The Hague found him guilty of 10 of 11 charges, including genocide over the 1995 Srebrenica massacre. Karadzic, 70, is the most senior political figure to face judgment over the violent collapse of Yugoslavia. His case is being seen as one of the most important war crimes trials since World War II. He had denied the charges, saying that any atrocities committed were the actions of rogue individuals, not the forces under his command. The trial, in which he represented himself, lasted 8 years. Officials say Iraqi forces have launched an operation to retake the northern city of Mosul from Islamic State IS. The first part of the long-awaited offensive has recaptured several villages. The operation has been supported by airstrikes from the US-led coalition, Kurdish Peshmerga troops, and a Shia-dominated paramilitary force. Mosul, Iraq's second-largest city, has been under IS rule since June 2014. An offensive to retake the city, where 2 million people lived before IS took over, has been in preparation for months. Officials say the aim is to seize it within the year, but experts have questioned the ability of Iraqi forces to do so. U.S. President Barack Obama has promised a new era in relations with Argentina, with U.S. firms announcing more than $2 billion for new investments in the next 18 months. Obama also promised to lift the lid on shady bilateral past relations. And that's it for international news. Coming up, we have sports.
Good evening, time for some updates from the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Samba. We are being backed by JPS Tornado Betes and Lunat. The Black Stars this afternoon beat the Mambas of Mozambique by 3-1 in the ongoing qualifiers for the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. The win has extended Ghana's point tally in Group H to 9 points from 3 matches. Frank Champon opened the scoring in the first half. 11 minutes into the second half, standing captain John Boy doubled the lead for the Stars before striker Jordan Ayew scored Ghana's third goal. The visitors, however, managed to pull a goal back when Absen Manjati headed in a cross at the far post. The Stars will play on Sunday against the Mambas in the second leg tie in Maputo. Bring you some highlights of the goals scored.
It was outstrapped. It was a corner kick. It was flapped away but not convincing Christian Achu, and it was cleared off the line. And then this one, 4 goals this season.
There could be. Jordan Ayew, simply fantastic.
Oh, that's top line.
Decided to come out with a magic goal.
This was a pass from Christian Achu. Ball was dinged over and above the goalkeeper, the Malakaman Achu. And Jordan proving that he's still...
Yeah, flag stays down. Smilembe. Now looking for Majete. Jumps up. Ah, beautiful.
But this one, look at the build-up once again. Very sweet. And Elias Pelembe was there. Where was the marking? It was a short man attacking a very tall striker. And Harrison Apple couldn't get it out. You know, good cross there from Elias. And Mozambique will score their first goal in the qualifying campaign. Will determine if it's going to be any qualification. So that's it.
Join us tomorrow morning for more updates on the Black Stars game. And still talking sports, the Private Universities Association of Ghana PUSAC Sports and Entertainment Festival is underway at the Elwak Sports Stadium. It is on the theme Strengthening Peace Through Universities Games.
The 9th edition of the annual Private University Students Association of Ghana PUSAC Sports and Entertainment Festival has commenced at the Elwak Sports Stadium. 29 accredited private universities across the country are participating in the event. Sportsmen and women are battling for honors in disciplines such as soccer, basketball, volleyball, track events, tennis, and strengthen comradeship among students. The guest of honor, the Youth and Sports Minister Neil Vanderpoy, urged the athletes to take both sports and their academic work seriously.
We say that a sound mind and a healthy body. So if you do sports, you open yourself up, you make your mind and your knowledge and your senses so agile for academic work. And I will just encourage everyone to take part in sports and recreation at the various institutions they sign themselves. Academic work is not the only thing you are there to do. Sports and recreation could help you and make your academic work much more easier.
There was a cooking contest by the ladies from the various universities, and deserving ones were presented with some tokens. The Presbyterian University College, Ghana, emerged the overall winner in last year's edition held in Kumasi. The event will end on the 27th of March.
The second edition of the Kita Cup, an international beach soccer competition, has been launched in Accra. The championship will start from Saturday, the 27th of March, and end on Monday, 28th.
The Aborigines Beach Soccer Arena at Kata in the Volta region will come alive this Saturday, the 26th of March, as it hosts the second edition of the Kata Cup, an international beach soccer festival. This year's event will feature 6 teams from Nigeria, Ghana, and Togo. The CEO of Sunset Sports, Jidodo Ajaho, said they hope to use the event to help develop a permanent beach soccer arena in Qatar.
Beach soccer has grown in stature in recent years in Ghana, and the second edition of the Qatar Cup represents another historic milestone in the growth of the sport in the country. The organizers hope that the Qatar Cup will act as a catalyst for wider development in the Qatar area.
This year's championship will be used to showcase the rich culture of the people of the Volta region, drum home the message of hygiene in the coastal areas, and the need for the youth to be ambassadors for peace before, during, and after November's general election. The event is in partnership with the Ghana Beach Soccer Association, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and Sandlanders Football, a UK-based sports development entity.
In Holland, Dutch icon Johan Cruyff has died at the age of 68. Cruyff, who represented Holland 48 times, was as well as starring for Ajax and Barcelona during his glittering career, passed away on Thursday after his battle with cancer. A statement on his website read, on March 24, 2016, Johan Cruyff died peacefully in Barcelona, surrounded by his family after a hard-fought battle with cancer. In February, he released a statement stating that treatment was going well and that he believed he will make a full recovery. Cruyff is regarded as one of the greatest footballers in history and was the leading star of the Dutch team that introduced total football to the world. Cruyff captained Holland at the 1974 World Cup at the height of his playing career and led the Dutch to the final. Finally, former Sunderland winger Adam Johnson has been sentenced to 6 years for grooming and sexual activity with a girl aged 15. The 28-year-old Johnson was found guilty of sexually touching but cleared of one charge relating to another sexual act following a trial at Bradford Crown Court. The former Sunderland winger previously admitted grooming the girl and one charge of sexual activity. Johnson began his career at Middlesbrough before moving to Manchester City and then on to Sunderland in 2012. He won 12 England caps between 2010 and 2012. That's all for sports.
Hello, good evening. Time for some art news. My name is Valerie Danso. Amachi and Dede is a romantic comedy about two best friends who fall in love with the same girl. Their friendship is put to test as they both embark on separate journeys to win the love of that one girl. The movie fuses actors from the old school and the new school era. We had a chat with some cast. Here are highlights.
Very interesting guys on the same day, and I really don't know who is the one. Amachi is a politician, and then Dede is a mechanic.
No, the politician is the one.
Children of these days do not consult God, especially when it comes to the matters of the heart.
That's why you do like, you don't like me, you like me. That's why I won't pay me.
Actually, Amachi and they are the character names in the movie. One is Fred Amachi, which is played by Calabos, myself. Thank you. You can clap maybe later. And Fred Dede, which is played by Majid Michel. Okay. And it stars a whole lot of celebrities, I mean, actors and stuff.
Yes, it's not, yeah.
Beautiful Anfe Patrice in it. John Dumelo is in it. Kobe Rana, Moisha Budon is in it. Rosalind Geza, Emilia Brobe, yes, from Kumasi, Apostle John Pra, and one short guy called Dabo, Yao Dabo, he's also in it. I mean, this movie is fully packed with drama, comedy, yes, and it's hashtag a rip-cracking romantic wahala. If you don't have the good rips to watch this movie, you better go and hire or rent one.
Pachi, how easy or difficult was it playing your role?
It was a little different from the
regular.
I'm used to. This time around, I happened to fall in love with one of the guys.
Me?
And no, he wishes.
And as usual.
I mean, it's a surprise, and I get pretty emotional, which is something very new for me. So it was okay.
With this script, I didn't go too much off my comfort zone, as in the comic acting I do. Yeah, it was part, and the new thing to me was how to get emotion. You know, how to get emotional in this.
Why? Your emotion is?
Very, very.
This morning you had no man. Now you have two.
Let's play to win. Whoever she chooses wins.
Who
did it? Me. You are crazy. Evo. Shut up, Doto. Raise your hand. Straight.
Next up are some news bits making the rounds.
The mortal remains of the late veteran actor Solomon Sampa, who died on Friday, January 22 this year, will be laid to rest on April 30th, 2016. Solomon Sampa was a sub-chief in Dom Sampaman near Amasaman in the Greater Accra region and will be taken there on April 28th for the wakekeeping, which will be followed by burial service on April 30th.
That's it for this segment. The weather report comes up next.
Well, that's it in the news for now. Thank you so much for staying with us. Join us at 10:30 for the late news. I'm Sipro Pakutre.
And I am Mufre Yuada.